Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's call. This is Jeff Adams, and I'm going to be your host. Tonight, we're going to talk about commercial opportunities in today's market. With me, I have my good friend David Lindahl, who has co-authored 3 books with Donald Trump and started out as a struggling landscaper over 15 years ago, living in a one-bedroom apartment, buying and selling houses and turning those profits from the houses into bigger deals such as apartment buildings, commercial buildings. Tonight, he's going to cover step-by-step how, with no real estate experience, he created systems that allowed him to create enough monthly positive cash flow to retire in 3.5 years. But guess what? He didn't retire. He still buys and sells property today. And on top of that, right now he has a portfolio of over 7,200 units and a monthly positive cash flow that equals what most people make in a year. And the best part, he doesn't have to deal with a single tenant. And guess what, folks? There's a lot of hype out there with commercial buildings, and we have a lot of our subscribers and students contact my office and ask to do a call on commercial real estate investing. And the only person I can think of that's out there that is actually credible enough, that's qualified enough to come on the call and give the information you need to be successful in today's market is David Lindahl. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and turn over to David Lindahl. Dave, you there?
I am, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, listen, it's really a privilege to have you here on the call here tonight. I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, folks, I want to thank you for being on the call. I'm going to make this call worth your while right to the very last minute. I know you're leading a very busy life. So I've got 3 objectives for tonight's call. The first objective is to show you how to take advantage of the opportunities that are in today's market, today's commercial real estate market, before the window closes. That's number one, because right now we're in about a 2 to 2.5 year window. And if you just focus on commercial real estate and pick the low-hanging fruit that's out there, you'll be able to set yourself and your family up for the next, for a lifetime and for another generation after that as well. And how do I know this? Because the same opportunity came about 17 years ago when I first started investing. And I took advantage of the opportunity, and I ended up where I am today. And I'll get into that story in a little bit. The second thing is I'm going to give you a 7-step system to financial freedom using commercial real estate. I'm literally going to take you step by step through the process on what you need to do today in order to put checks in your pocket for years and years into the future. And then number 3, I'm going to show you how to get $5,000 in the next 30 days. How's that sound to you, Jeff?
That sounds awesome. And I want to remind everybody that we're going to be raffling off 3 iPads at the end of the call. So make sure you stay on the call to the end. 3 iPads, Dave.
So let's continue. So what we're not going to talk about tonight. What we're not going to talk about tonight is how you need big money to be investing in real estate, which you don't. When I started, I had less than $800 in the bank. Many of my students start off broke and then they become wealthy. So you don't need big money. Second thing we're not going to talk about is how you need to do big deals. You don't need to start with big deals. Yes, it's nice to do big deals. Big deals will bring you big money. But you know what? Subconsciously, people are afraid of big deals, even if you think you aren't and you want to do them. So what I tell my students is get out there and just do a deal, because and it doesn't matter what size it is. It could be a small deal, it could be a big deal. But just do a deal, and once you get that first deal done, it's like the sky opens up, the sun shines down, and your whole world gets better. Number 3, what we're not going to talk about is we're not going to talk about what worked in 2010, because we're in 2011. Our markets are changing on a regular basis. Our teachings are changing at a regular basis. The techniques and I'm using in the marketplace are changing, and I'm going to share with you what's working today in today's market. And how do I know it's working? It's because I'm doing real estate on a regular basis. Number 4, we're not going to talk about why you're too busy to do this, because if you can just do this a half an hour a day for 4 days a week, you can get started investing in commercial real estate, and you can get started in changing your life. And number 5, we're not going to talk about how you can't afford to be trained, because we have a 2 to 2.5 year window here. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there, and you're going to go to those that are the most educated. And I want to commend you for being on this call, because this is part of your education. You're taking time out of your life right now to listen to this and to learn, and I'm going to give you good quality information throughout this call. And you're you're already in the upper echelon. So I commend you for taking action. So give you an idea of who I am and how I get started. I was living in this one-bedroom apartment up on the second floor of this 2-family house for most of my 20s, and I was struggling during those times, because in my 20s I was in this rock and roll band. I was in a band called Voyager. I was the lead singer. I absolutely loved being in that band. If I could have made it in rock and roll, I'd still be in the band, but unfortunately I couldn't. And at about 26 years of age, I realized it was time to smarten up, grow up, and try to make something of myself. And I'll be honest with you,
Dave,
I
I heard that band was having a reunion tour, though. Is that true?
As a matter of fact, it is. Yeah, at the next Commercial Training Academy, we are going to get together, and it's going to be a pretty good time. You know, we had this customer appreciation event not too long ago in New Orleans, and there was a band there, and I got up on stage and I did a few tunes, and they kept the fire burning again. So I'm getting the band back together, and we're going to do some gigs.
I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So what I did is at 26, I started a landscaping company. I literally in Boston went around and I started knocking on doors for people that had high grass. And it was April at that time. It was the time the grass started growing. And I asked people if I could mow their lawn for the season. And the first year I got 21 accounts, and it worked out pretty good. Except when the winter came in, and up in Boston it snows a lot in the wintertime, and I had to do I couldn't do any landscaping, so I did odd jobs to get by. I did a lot of snow plowing. I sold memberships for BJ's wholesale clubs and Costco's. Hey, Jeff, you know how much those memberships go for?
How much?
$40. And they used to give me a 10% commission. Times are tough.
Yeah,
Times are tough. Yeah, but fortunately for me, a friend of mine worked for a local bank, knew I was struggling, asked me if I wanted to do the repairs on a foreclosure. You know, Jeff, the market back then is just the way it is today. A lot of banks have a lot of foreclosures. People are saying you're crazy to invest in real estate. But I was lucky that a friend realized that I needed some money coming in, asked me if I wanted to do the work on this property. I said, absolutely. I think he rigged it, so I won the bid. Even though when he gave me the bid, I had no idea how to fill it out. I got my cousin who did know how to do it to come with me and put the numbers together. And I got that first job. The bank liked the work. They asked me to bid a second one, and I did that. And they asked me to bid a third one, and I did that. I started realizing something. I started realizing that the people that were buying these properties, a lot of them were investors, and they were flipping these properties, and they were making $20,000, $30,000, and $40,000 on those flips. And I was making about $5,000 to $6,000 rehabbing them. And I thought, you know what? If I could have one of those windfalls come into my apartment, that would make a huge difference in my life. So, folks, I started doing exactly what you're doing now. I started listening to successful people. I started getting their systems. I started going to seminars. And within a very short period of time, I had enough information to do my first deal. But I was afraid to do that first deal. And so, you know, I had an extra fear factor, I like to call it. My father told me, I told him I was going to start investing in real estate. And he told me I was crazy. As a matter of fact, my father told me, he said, Dave, you start investing in real estate and you're going down. And he had the whole hand motion going, Jeff. You know, he had, going down. He told me this 2 or 3 times, and he started making me really, really nervous. So I realized that I had to stop talking to him about investing in real estate. If I was going to do it, I had to go out and do it on my own. And I think the turning point for me, Jeff, and I'm not sure what your turning point was, but for me, it was going to the local real estate investment groups. It was listening in on the meetings, and then talking to the people and realizing that there were people in that group that were just like me, and they were out there doing this. They were out there becoming successful in real estate. And I thought, man, if they can do it, I can do it too. And that was a catapult. And I went out. 9 months later, I did my first deal, and it was this property on 25 Newton Street in Brockton, Massachusetts. I started investing in multifamily properties. I didn't start investing in single-family properties. The reason being is I discovered that the people in this building would not only pay my mortgage, in essence, they're buying the building for me. They would pay the mortgage. They would pay for the guys to do all the maintenance on the properties and the contractors to do the repairs. So I didn't have to go over there and clean out toilets, and I didn't have to go over there and do the type of repair work that I was never really good at doing anyways. And they would give me enough money to pay for the management company to manage them. You see, I very early discovered, and fortunately I did, that when you're in the investment business, you should not be in the landlord business. A lot of people are afraid to invest in commercial or multifamily properties because they think they're going to get calls from the tenants. No. You have your management companies manage those properties. As a matter of fact, one of the steps is how to get good quality management companies to manage your properties. We're going to talk about that. So in doing this, I also discovered that they would give me so much money that after paying all of those people, I would have extra money at the end of the month, which is positive spendable income. And for me, this particular building brought in $873 a month. And for somebody that had a lot of money going out but not a lot of money coming in, that made a pretty big difference in my life. Doesn't sound like much, but it made a big difference in my life back then. And then 3 months later, I had 3 more, and 6 months later, I had 9. And in that first year, I had 11 buildings. And you know, Jeff, within 14 months, I had a $10,000 a month positive cash flow coming into my 1-bedroom apartment.
I'm sure you stopped pushing those mowers, huh?
Yeah, actually I pushed those mowers for a couple more years because I kept that business going. I believe in having I call them oil wells. You know, you get something that's working, and I did stop pushing the mowers, and I had other people do it for me. I hired kids to do it. But then I had an oil well growing there, and then in my apartment buildings, I had an oil well growing there, feeding me money every month. So it's working out pretty good. So, you know, during the first 3 to 4 years, I would only buy small buildings, small 3 to 6 family buildings. Any idea why I wouldn't buy anything bigger, Jeff?
Probably that's all you can afford at that time.
No, because I wasn't using my money. I had no money, actually. I had less than $800 in the bank. So I could actually have bought any size because I had private investors. And we're going to talk about that too tonight. I had private investors giving me money to do my deals. But I didn't buy bigger deals because I was afraid to buy bigger deals. I was afraid to go brick, as they call it. And then something started happening. Within 2.5, 3 years, I'd become a multimillionaire. Most of that money was in equity in my properties because my market started taking off. Just like most of the markets around the United States and Canada are going to take off over the next 2 to 3 years, my market started taking off, and I had all this appreciation coming in. My cash flow at times doubled, 2.5 times, 3 times what I was getting before. But I realized something. I realized that what goes up must come down and then go back up again. And I didn't want to lose all of that equity. So I started studying about emerging markets. I started learning about emerging markets. I started studying the concept, and I started moving the equity that I had in these properties into other properties around the United States. And because I had so much equity, so, you know, Jeff, I was buying these buildings for $90,000, $100,000, $125,000. At the height of the market, I was selling them at $325,000, $350,000, $375,000. So I had a lot of my properties. I had $180,000 in equity, $200,000 in equity, and this is just a 2.5, 3 year period. So when I moved that money, I was actually forced to buy bigger properties, and this is what I did. I started buying, and I started diversifying into other commercial type of properties as well. So I started buying warehouse space. I started buying larger multifamily properties. I started buying office buildings. This is a 12,000 square foot office building that I own. I started buying self-storage. This is an 800 unit self-storage unit that I own in Pasadena, Texas. And I started buying mixed use. And I get to the point where today I own over 7,322 units today. And I still work the same system that I created over 17 years ago. I keep upgrading the system because, as we know, the market is changing on a regular basis, and the techniques that we're using to get deals done are changing on a regular basis. And I live what I call the attitude, and a lot of my successful students live the attitude as well. And the attitude is that you can do what you want, when you want, where you want, for as long as you want, and with who you want. And I believe that everybody should live. I know you live in that attitude, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see you driving around that beautiful Mercedes, having that beautiful wife and 2 beautiful kids.
I'll tell you what, real estate's definitely afforded me that luxury, you know.
Yeah. It's, you know, you and I met many years ago at that boot camp. Jeff and I met how many years ago now? 13, 14?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a lot of years ago.
Yeah, we were both just starting out. You on the West Coast, me on the East Coast. Both of us almost broke. You were a firefighter starting out, and I was a landscaper. And look where we've come. It's all because of real estate.
Way. Exactly.
Yeah. Good thing.
And you know, the funny thing, Dave, is really fast is, you know, the market today is exactly the market when I first started and you first started. I mean,
that's the exciting part about it, is because it's exactly the way it was when we first started, and the opportunity is there. And I remember, you know, talking and saying, you know, oh, you know, our friends are saying we're crazy for doing this, but, you know, where else could you get these properties so cheap? You know, you're buying at the bottom of the market right now. You buy at the bottom of the market right now at these rents and at these occupancy rates, you're just setting yourself up for big windfalls in the future. Yeah, it's a great thing. So a couple of years ago, I wrote my first book. It's called Emerging Real Estate Markets, and basically talked about the different markets around the United States that I went into and bought properties. That was a #1 bestseller, still is actually. Multifamily Millions was my second book out there. When the first one was so successful, the publisher asked me to write a second. I did. And then he asked me to write a third, and I said, nope, I'm done writing books because books take a long time to write. It takes me about 4 months to write a book. And they said, well, you might want to write this one because Donald Trump actually called and he was wondering if you were interested in writing his book or co-authoring his Commercial Real Estate Investing 101 book. And I said, tell him to call. So he did, and I was very flattered that he asked me to write the book. And I asked him why. You know, why'd you choose me to co-author? He said, you know, he says, I know you're doing it out there on a regular basis because I'm on globestreet.com. And folks, if you're not familiar with Globe Street, write it down. It's a website where all the commercial deals that are done in this country are put on the ticker. So So you can see them going by. You can see who your competition is. You can see what things are selling. And I used to teach with Donald Trump on the stage called the Learning Annex. And he said, I see the way you teach, and I see how effective you are teaching. So I did. So I wrote that book with him, and that book became #1 bestseller as well. I am the CEO of what's called the Bostonian Investment Group, which is one of the largest private commercial investment groups in the U.S. Over the last 3 years, I've raised over $43 million. I currently own over $221 million worth of real estate. I was recently featured on this magazine, Realty 411. I've been in Fortune, Kiplinger's, Voice of America, Consumer Reports, and Reader's Digest. And you know, the main reason I do all this is this right here. This is my family. That's my dad, who kept telling me not to buy real estate. Now he's very, very happy that I did. That's my mom right there. If you ever call my office, her name's Barbara. She loves to talk to the students and talk about their success stories. My brother Dan does all my IT. My brother Jeff, he's in the office as well. That's my sister Tammy. She's been with me through the whole ride when we were in that one-bedroom apartment starting that landscaping company. And those are all my nieces and nephews. So, you know, when you're doing this, I know you want to do this to make money, but there's an underlying reason why you're doing this. For me, it's family. I'm a big family guy. You know, for yourself, whatever your emotional reason is, I say put it in front of you as often as you can, and you will get to success that much faster. So I want you to know this. This is not about me. This is about you. It's about getting a system that will change your life today so that you can have a better tomorrow. You see, I started investing 17 years ago in a real estate market that was exactly like today's market. Real estate prices were low. The media was telling everybody not to buy, and all I wanted was a better life. That's why I got started. I started investing in real estate when everybody told me I was crazy, and my life changed drastically, and all for the better. And now it's your time. See, back then it was my time. Back then it was Jeff's time. Now it's your time. And I'm here to help you make that transition, if you allow me to. See, I'm committed to helping you succeed. When you come to my office in Rockland, Massachusetts, and I hope you do visit me, it's a 12,000 square foot office building over there. In that building, there are 51 people that are dedicated to helping you succeed. See, when you walk through the door, you'll see Alice, who's our secretary, and behind Alice on the wall are our 5 core values. And our #1 core value is that we are not successful until our students are successful. And we live that every day at that company. And see, here's the important thing. I'm still doing real estate every single day. I'm in the trenches with you, creating relationships, looking for the next good deal, and figuring out how to make the right offer. I've never stopped buying and selling real estate. And because of this, your road to success is going to be that much easier. So let's talk about how we profit. Well, first of all, we profit by flipping houses. That's called wholesaling. And a little bit later on in the call, we'll go through the basics of commercial wholesaling, which is a little bit different from single-family wholesaling, if you're familiar with that. And we wholesale for big checks. You know, we wholesale so we can get our head above water. We wholesale so that if we've got a problem property, or we've got a lot of debt, if we've got credit cards that are strangling us, that's why we wholesale, to create a better lives for ourselves. Once we get our head above water, and we're treading water, then we can start looking at the other things, the good things in life that we want to do. You know, all the things that you've been putting off because you didn't have money. Then we start buying and holding for explosive cash flow and explosive appreciation. Now, here's the thing. One deal in commercial real estate can literally retire you. But remember, you want to start where you are comfortable. You want to write that down. Start where you're comfortable. It's the most important thing. Because once you get started, those big deals will start coming very quickly after that. So what are your new paydays instead of working for the man? Your new paydays are #1, cash flow coming in. That's passive income. Your management company is going to manage your properties for you, and they're going to write you checks every month. They're going to come into your mailbox. #2 is appreciation. We are in a time right now where most of the country, most of North America has pretty much bottomed out, and there's nowhere to go but up. And just by holding on to properties, you're going to have appreciation in your cash flow, and the value of your property is going to go up. And then we have what's called forced appreciation. I want you to write that down. Forced appreciation actually allows you to push the value of your property up if you buy right, okay? And the way you buy right with commercial property is buying with what's called value add. I want you to write that down, value add. That means you're buying a property that you can make some changes to, some very quick changes that don't cost a lot of money. Some of them don't cost any money, and then increase the value of the property in a down market, in today's market. So some of the value add that you're going to be buying are properties with low rents, properties with low occupancies, or properties with higher than normal expenses. You make those small changes, and you change the cash flow of the property, and this is really important. The value of your property is determined by the cash flow. Write that down. The value of a property is determined by the cash flow. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that cash flow, and we're going to increase, not only are we going to increase the amount of money that goes into our pocket every month, but we're going to increase the value of our property, hold that property, and then watch the market increase the value of the property just by the transition we're going through. Now, the third payday is what's called acquisition fees. And we're going to talk about acquisition fees a little bit later on in this call, but they're a phenomenon with commercial real estate. They're industry standard. But Jeff, how would you like to get a check at the closing of your deal, at the closing for $30,000, $50,000, $150,000, sometimes $300,000? Would that be good?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Acquisition fees will do this for you, and acquisition fees in commercial properties are industry standard. So again, stay tuned for those. They're life-changing. So what is your goal? Your goal is to get the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of risk. See, the system I'm about to show you is the system that I use day in and day out. It's the same system that my most successful students use to invest in commercial real estate in today's market. It's called the Freedom System, and it has 7 steps. Now, before I reveal the system, you must realize that money is not a big deal, but your quality of life is. You see, this system has allowed me to travel to all 4 continents, visit 41 out of the 50 states, and my goal is to hit 50 by 50, to dip my toe and sometimes skinny dip in 3 of the 4 major oceans. Here's just some of the pictures of the places that I've been. And folks, if you like to travel, commercial real estate will take you to where you want to be. And the best part is you don't even have to worry about what it costs. Here I am at the Taj Mahal. Over here I'm in Prague. Here is the Eiffel Tower. I heard it was skiing 15 inches in Park City, Utah one time, and I called a friend. I said, let's go. And we headed over there. I'm here at a wedding at a friend over in India. This is over in Africa. These are Maasai warriors. In order to get to manhood at age 13, they have to kill a lion with only a knife. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Yeah, and check this out. When these guys, when I said, hey guys, can you come over here? I'd like to have a picture with you. And they all gather around me. The guy with the camera is about to snap it. And just before he snaps it, Jeff, one of these guys takes his hand and it slips out underneath his robe here. He looks at me and he says, $10. $10.
Right.
And I looked at him and I said, no problem. And I pulled the 10 out and I gave it to him. So they're pretty shrewd over there. That was a lot of fun. I just recently got back from Costa Rica. I was surfing over there. That was a good thing. And Jeff, in about a week and a half, I'm headed over to Italy. Going to go to Rome, then I'm going to go to Venice and hang out there for a while. I'm going to China in June. I love to travel. Folks, if you love to travel, if you want to see the world, it's commercial real estate that has allowed me to do it, and it will allow you to do it as well. See, it's a system that allowed me to take my father back to the country of our roots, which is Sweden, before he was too old to enjoy it. I'm a 3rd-generation Swede. My grandfather came over. My father had never been to the home country, and I wanted to get him over there before he was too old to get around. And him and my mom went over there a couple of years ago. We spent 2 weeks there, and we had one of the best times of our lives. And Swedes are known for being 3 things. Number one, they're known for being very, very conservative, and my father is that, certainly, and he taught me those conservative values. That's where, what I'm teaching you here on this call is very, very conservative. I'm going to share with you how to be a conservative investor, because when you're conservative, you're going to be playing this game for a very long time, and you're going to be making money faster than other investors. Number 2, Swedes are known for being very trustworthy. My father certainly instilled that in me. Number 3, Swedes are known to be very, very sexy. It's true. And you ever see those beer commercials, Jeff, with all those Swedish girls on there?
Yeah.
Good-looking girls. All right, now here's the best part. I make money whenever and wherever I go. Every time when I go to those different countries and I'm hanging out there, whether I be there for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, those cash flow checks keep coming in. I own 34 complexes right now. I have 34 cash flow checks coming in month after month after month, no matter where in the world I am. And Jeff, I am powerless to stop those checks from coming into my mailbox. And folks, here's the best part. You will be powerless too. When you're out there traveling, visiting relatives, visiting friends, going to foreign lands, while you're going to be making money. Your tenants are going to be paying your rents. They're going to be paying you more money than it takes to cover your bills, and that cash flow is going to be sent to your mailbox. We call it mailbox money. The mailbox money is what makes it all worth it. Here's the thing. I never dreamed this was possible when I first started. I had no idea that I would get to this level. I was afraid to do my very first deal. Now, I want you to know this. any human who can learn how to open an email can learn this system. But before I give you the system, if you're already making $10,000 a month in passive income, you don't need this system. But if you're not, then this system could change your life from this day forward.
Hey, Dave, you made a good point there. I want to point out, and I have a lot of successful students and subscribers that are out there flipping houses and making a lot of money, but a lot of them, they don't have that passive income coming in month after month after month. And that's one of the reasons I brought you on the call here tonight, to share some of your strategies that you've been doing for the last,
Hey, Jeff, you're right. Passive income sets you free. When you're flipping houses or flipping properties, in order to get another paycheck, yeah, you get big, good chunks of checks, but in order to get another paycheck, you need to flip another house, which means you need to be wherever you are flipping.
Exactly.
This business you can do anywhere in the world, and that's a good thing. And folks, if you're not as happy or successful as you think you should be at this stage of your life, it's not your fault. It's because nobody truly successful has given you a step-by-step system that actually works in any real estate market. It's going to work in your backyard. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why is he sharing this system? And the answer is simple. As you grow your business, I can grow mine. You see, after you start using this system, you may be overwhelmed with deals, or you might be looking for a partner for your first big deal. And I'm hoping when this happens, you're going to think of me. So here's the freedom system, and that means we can be successful together. So there's 7 steps in the system. We're going to go through them one by one. The first one is attracting the deal. You've got to attract those deals coming in. Now, at any given time, you should have between 5 to 7 different marketing campaigns coming into your home or office, okay? Write that down, 5 to 7. You don't want to rely on one. That's a mistake that a lot of investors make. They rely on one campaign and dribbles in deals. Sometimes it doesn't give you any deals. In today's market, there are 2 things that are working very well. There's actually 3 or 4 working very well, but there are 2 that I want to share with you. The first is letter campaigns. You want to be doing letter campaigns because there are so many people in foreclosure right now that we are seeing the highest response rate on letter campaigns that I've seen since I first started investing 17 years ago. So what you want to do is you want to get a list from the assessor's office. Write that down. You want to get a list from the assessor's office, people that have owned their properties for 2 years or more, 10 years or more. 10 years or more. And the reason for that is they're going to have a lot of equity in those properties, and you'll be able to create some very good deals when you get motivated sellers to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in selling my property. You can also go to the courthouse where landlords evict their tenants. And from there, you want to get what's called the summary process list. And you want to mail that list on a regular basis as well. And there's a lot of don't want to be landlords there. So letter campaigns work. You want to be mailing them on a regular basis. Every month you should have letters going out. Now, the second thing is relationships. Relationships are the key to this business, by the way. It's not just in this market, but it's any market. I want you to write that down. Relationships are the key to the business. The better your relationships, the more deals you're going to get. So you want relationships with bankers and you want relationships with brokers, because these are the guys that have all of the low-hanging fruit in the marketplace right now. You see, one banker or one broker will make you rich, 2 will make you wealthy, and 3, if you have 3 of them giving you deals on a regular basis, will retire you, and they will retire the next generation of your family, which is a good thing. Now, when you get the system, I actually have scripts in there. People say, well, what do I say to the bankers or the brokers? Well, there's actually scripts in there, so when you make your first couple of phone calls, it tells you exactly what to say step by step. Now, here's the key to the script, okay? After you do business, you want to ask the broker or the banker, hey, Mr. Banker, hey, Mr. Broker, what is it that you like to do on the weekend? And whatever their answer is, if you have that in common, then that's what you want to talk about. If you don't have that in common, then you want to ask them, oh, that's interesting. What else do you like to do? And you want to keep fishing until you have something that you earnestly have in common with the person. And this is called commonality. Write this down, commonality. You want to find commonality with the bankers or the brokers. Because what happens is people do business with people that they like and people that they trust. And they like people that are like them. So not only that, you start becoming friends with your bankers and brokers, because now the next time you're going to make that call, the first thing you're going to talk about is what you have in common, what you share in passion, what you're both passionate about. Now, it typically takes 4 months to establish a relationship with a banker or a broker. I want you to write that down. See, a lot of people, they make 1 or 2 phone calls, they get frustrated, they say, oh, they didn't give me anything good, I'm going to go on to the next one. Don't. It takes 4 months to establish a relationship. You should be contacting them every 10 days or so. All right? But when you can find commonality with a banker or a broker, you will cut that time in half. You'll cut it down to 2 months and sometimes even a lot shorter than that. So keep that in mind. One of the things we do in our office, Jeff, and I know you do it as well, is we're always looking for what's preventing our students from being successful. Like I said, our number one core value is that we're not successful until our students are successful. So we have the success meeting every Monday morning in the office, and we have our customer service people come in. We say, okay, what were the challenges that our students faced last week? And they tell us what the challenges were, and then we figure out some way that we can help our students overcome that challenge. One of the challenges was our students weren't doing their marketing. They weren't finding the time to do their marketing. So what we did is we came up with a done-for-you marketing system. I've written all the different letters. There are letters that are proven, they're tested, they work in not only my market, but in the markets all throughout the U.S. and Canada. They work on a regular basis, and we can actually send those letters out for you, and that's what we'll do. So it's a done-for-you marketing system where all you need to do is pick up the phone, open up the manual, get the seller's script, and then just ask them the questions, and you can determine whether or not you have a deal on your hands. Now, yes, will I have a system for you at the end of this call? Yes, but I want to give you information. Whether or not you get the system, I want to give you enough information so you can go out and start doing business. So some of the great headlines I use on those marketing campaigns, on those letters, are these. You want to write these down. First one is, one of my highest polling headlines is, who else wants to sell their commercial property? And then below that, you write the letter. Who else wants to sell their commercial property? That one pulls really, really well. Motivated buyer looking to buy your property. That's another one that pulls really well. See, every one of your letters needs to have a headline. That's marketing 101. Number 3, tired of collecting rents? Read on. That pulls people in. You want to get people to open up your letter, read your headline. They're going to look down and they're going to see who sent it. They're not going to know your name. So it's really important that you have a really good PS. Always put a PS. If you ever notice that the stuff you get in the mail, there's always a PS in there, that's because PSs work. And then the whole idea behind the headline and the PS is to get them to read that letter and then to take action and then to call you. So number 1. Oh, here's another thing, is another challenge that our students were facing is that they didn't have, especially the last year and a half, 2 years where the market's been down, sellers and owners have been asking buyers to come up with proof of funds when they're putting in an offer to make sure they're a legitimate buyer. Well, there's 2 ways you can come up with proof of funds. Either you have them, number 1, or you get what's called a sponsor. And a sponsor is somebody that you can use their proof of funds, you can use their credit history in order to get a deal done. Well, when we talked about this change in the marketplace in our office about a year and a half ago, we thought, why don't we create a relationship with a bank that, based on the parameters of a deal, the student brings in a deal, we can give them a proof of funds that they can hand in with that offer. And what will that give you? Well, when you do that, that gives you instant credibility with the borrower, or with the seller or the broker, and it also gives you confidence to know that any deal that you're putting an offer in, you can have the proof of funds there. So when you become one of our students, we give you these proof of funds letter when you're going into your deals. And this is especially good if you're just starting out or if you don't have funds. So that's another part of the done-for-you aspect of the system. Oh, here are my folks. Jeff, you've met my folks before. There's my mother. There's my father. People say, "Oh, Dave, you've got so much. You must have had a good head start." Not true. I come from a working class family. My mother was a fish cutter on the Fish Piers of Boston for 27 years, and now I finally saved her from that job, and she works in my office. I tripled her salary. She comes and goes as she pleases, and she loves being Dave's mom. That's my father. My father used to work 2 jobs just about all his life to support us 4 kids, 4 crazy kids. And man, he was so happy when we all moved out and he had all this extra money left over. So those are my folks, and I love them dearly. And no silver spoon here, just hardworking parents that instilled a good work ethic in me. They taught me how to be honest. They taught me how to be ethical and how to have integrity. And that's what life and business is all about. Step number 2 is to know your market. You need to know what type of market you're in so you can know what strategy to use in that particular market and what characteristics are in that market. When those characteristics change, you need to know when to change. And that's what I call the Lindahl cycle. The Lindahl cycle has 4 different phases in it. Okay, there's a seller's market 1, a seller's market 2, a buyer's market 1, and a buyer's market 2. Just like I said, every market has key characteristics and key strategies. Using the right strategies in the right market will explode your wealth. Using the wrong strategies in the wrong market, it's going to get you knocked out of the game early. and we're going to prevent that from happening to you. So this is a market cycle. It goes up and down, up and down. See, most of us are right here in the market cycle. If we haven't bottomed out, we're very close to bottoming out. And from here, we are just going to shoot up and we're going to skyrocket. So let's take a look at this is a buyer's market phase 2. The key characteristic in a buyer's market phase 2 is that rents have started to rise for the first time over a number of years. Because over the last number of years, rents have actually gone down. Now they bottom out, and when they start to rise, you know that the market has shifted, and it's time to be buying with both hands. Your strategy here is to buy and hold. Okay, you want to buy and hold in this particular part of the cycle. Buy with both hands, back up the pickup truck, fill it up to the brim. Because in a very short period of time, this market will make you a multi-millionaire. If you buy, you've got to be active. You know what? You cannot sit on the sidelines. You cannot become wealthy by sitting on the sidelines. You need to take action. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are dipping their toe in the water. You know, they're not sure whether or not they want to jump in. And the rest of us are in there and we're splashing around and we're making all kinds of money and we're wondering why there's people on the sidelines, especially in this market. So we go from the buyer's market 2 into the seller's market phase 1. What's happening here? Well, the key characteristic is that demand is at its highest point. I want you to write that down. In the seller's market phase 1, demand is at its highest point. And because of this, you can do both strategies that there are in real estate. And both of those strategies are to buy and hold and to flip. Okay, this is the only cycle where you can do both buy and hold and flip. And the reason being is because demand is so great. Now up here in the seller's market phase 2, this is the sell cycle. Look at this. There's a lot of upside potential left in the marketplace, but this is where you sell and get out of the market. You leave some meat on the bone, because if you try to wait till the market tops out, you never know when that market's going to top out. Okay, you'd much rather take that money, move it into another emerging market, or just simply get into a cash position. Let's say you get into a cash position. You hold on to cash right here. Your key strategy here is to flip, by the way. You don't want to do anything else but flip in this market. You don't want to hold anything. You get into cash, you wait till your market corrects like it has and becomes stagnant, and right now cash is king. Now, if you don't have cash, one of the steps is how to get cash, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But going from the seller's market phase 2, you take that cash, you move it into another buyer's market phase 2, because at any given time, there's anywhere between 23 and 29 emerging markets around the United States. You can move that market into money into another market, and you can watch it double, triple, and quadruple. And that's the beauty of emerging markets. Right now, you can make a ton in your own backyard, or you can be investing in emerging markets. You know, there are some really good markets out there. Washington, D.C. is probably the best emerging market in the country right now. If you live in that area, congratulations. If you don't, be investing in your own backyard, because you're still in a good market. You're at the bottom. But if you're thinking about an emerging market, well, go over to Washington. You can be doing both. You can be investing in your own backyard. You can be investing in emerging markets at the same time, and I suggest you do, because you'll just see your wealth explode. Right now, there are 20 other emerging markets, and yours in your own backyard is just about to emerge. So let's talk about deal analysis, because that's one of the keys. You know, you're going to attract a deal. You're going to know what strategies to use for the particular deal. Now it's time to analyze a deal. Now, we just want smoking deals. How do we know if it's a smoking deal? Well, number one, we want to get a big discount. And to get a big discount, we need to know what the capitalization rate is. Now, I'm going to give you some terms, but I'm going to give you the definition of those terms in a second, so just bear with me. So we want a big discount, and that's going to be determined by the capitalization rate. We want a cash flowing property. Don't ever buy anything with negative cash flow. Okay? Don't let anybody talk you into that. It's just not the right thing to do. Okay? Now, how do we know if it's cash flowing? Our cash on cash return ratio and our DCR, which stands for debt coverage ratio, will tell us that. We want to know if it's in good condition. How do we know if it's in good condition? We look at it. We drive by it. Would you be proud to own it? Then you take it. And then number 4, it's got to meet our holy trinity. I'm going to talk about the holy trinity in a minute. Once you get a deal that meets that holy trinity, private money investors will very happily open up their wallets and give you money so you can buy that deal. And I'll tell you why in a second. So, all right, what's the capitalization rate? I want you to write this down. Capitalization rates, by the way, determine the value of a property, and it's based on cash flow. So the capitalization rate, quite simply, is the return you expect to get on your money. Okay, capitalization rate, the return you expect to get on your money. So now, what's the cash on cash return? Well, the cash on cash return tells you how fast you're going to get your money back, okay? Now, you're concerned about the cap rate because you want to know the value of the property. The cash-on-cash return, your investors are going to get their money back. The debt coverage ratio tells you how many times your cash flow covers your mortgage payment, all right? Now, the bank's concerned about that because they want to know that the cash flow in the property is healthy and you're going to be able to make your mortgage payment. So those are the three key ratios in commercial properties. Now, the Holy Trinity tells you when you have a great deal. Now, I call it the Holy Trinity because it consists of those three ratios. And when those three ratios are lined up properly and they all exceed a certain number, it's like the sky opens up, the sun shines down, and you hear the sound. It's like trumpets coming out of the night because you now have a deal that you can bring to the investors, and the investors are going to open up their wallets for you. Now, these are the numbers for the Holy Trinity. Write these down. Your cap rate has to be an 8+. Your cash-on-cash return has to be a 12+. Your debt coverage ratio has to be at 1.6+. When you get a deal that meets this Trinity, that means you can carve out 25% of that deal and you get 25% of the monthly cash flow. Now, this is the minimum amount that you're going to take, the minimum when you go into a deal. Don't take anything less than this. That also means you're going to get 25% of the appreciation when you go to sell the deal. Now, as these numbers get higher, that means you can carve out more of the deal. You can carve out more ownership equity. So your investors put up the money, you carve out the cash flow, you carve out the appreciation based on the numbers. So we're only going to do deals that meet the Trinity. Now, you might be thinking, oh, yeah, but it's going to involve math. That's going to involve calculators. That's going to be, involve things that may get you frustrated. See, I was never a really good math student, and I was never good at math. And when I first started analyzing deals, it used to take me about 45 minutes, an hour and a half. I used to put the numbers together. I used to pray that the numbers were right. I was always afraid that I was going to get the numbers wrong. So I would do the numbers. I would do them again. And then I would look at them, and if it wasn't a deal, then I'd have to go back and I'd have to lower the purchase price, or I'd have to increase the down payment. I had to try to figure out how I was going to make this a deal. And then I get smart, and I talked to a friend of mine who's a software engineer, and we created what's called the multi-unit profit finder, which is basically we created a system where you just put in the income, put in the expenses, put in the mortgage amount, and instantly it tells you whether or not you have a deal. Is that easy, Jeff?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I made it easy for myself. I created this software 12 years ago. I didn't do it for other people, although people have offered me over $5,000 for this, and the most I accepted was $5,000. I'd happily accept money for this. But I created it for myself because I just wanted to be able to get in and out of deals very, very quickly. And here's the thing. This is the front page. There's 5 different pages in here. There's also called a what-ifs page. And the what-ifs page is I always go to that when the numbers don't work out, when my Trinity numbers aren't there. And it's got a scale there. And all you need to do is take that scale and start moving it over. And you see those numbers start changing. And once they line up properly, it's going to tell you what your strike price should be. And your strike price, and I want you to write this down, your strike price is the most that you can pay for the property and still meet the Trinity. And it's as simple as that. You just grab that lever, you move it over, the numbers line up, and that's your strike price. Hey, you want more than 25% of the deal? You say you want 30, 40% of the deal? Keep moving the bar over, and it will tell you the most that you can pay for the deal and get 40% of the deal. It's beautiful. It's really, really easy. My software guy, he's a genius, and I love him for that. So that's done for you. Now, hey, why is now the best of times for commercial properties? Well, because I'm such a large investor around the U.S. and I'm the CEO of one of the largest commercial real estate investment companies in the country, I was invited to a special meeting by the Assistant Treasury Secretary of the United States. His name was Seth Wheeler at the time. He since has retired. This was last year. He just recently retired. But he invited us to Park City, Utah. There was 32 of us there. That's me right there. That's the Assistant Treasury Secretary right there. He got us in there for the weekend. And the reason he got us in is because the Obama administration knew that there's a big commercial crisis coming. They knew they couldn't avoid it, but they wanted to know how they could get out of it faster. So we brainstormed for the weekend. We all came up with a bunch of great ideas to help the government out, but the government also gave us some very startling information. They told us, Seth Wheeler told us that 61% of all commercial mortgages are headed into foreclosure by 2012. 61%, Jeff. That is a huge opportunity for commercial real estate investors. This opportunity is going to last for the next 2 to 2.5 years, and then the economy is going to get healthy again. The commercial mortgages that went into foreclosures are going to be snapped up, and it's going to be over. So that's why I say there's a window of 2.5 years. If you will do for 2.5 years what most people won't do, you will be able to do for the rest of your life what most people can't. It's just as simple as that. It happened to me, Jeff. It happened to you 17 years ago. It happened to me 17 years ago. In a very short period of time, your life changes dramatically. Here's the other thing he told us. He told us that 142 banks failed last year. 700 more are going to be failing this year and next year combined. And now, what does that mean? That means that there are banks out there that if you knew which banks they were, you could go to them, you could start negotiating with them for their non-performing assets, and you could get really good deals from them. But more importantly, if you knew what these banks were and you had money in one of these banks, you would definitely want to move it as soon as possible and get it out of there. Because the banks need operating capital to survive. That's why they'll sell you their deals for pennies on the dollar. And banks do not want to manage their foreclosed properties either. So you'll be negotiating from a position of strength when you're talking to these particular banks. So the window is open. It's open for a short time. It's open for the first time in the last 17 years, and it's going to close, and it won't be open again. So you've got a decision to make. Are you going to take action, or are you going to watch other people take action and watch other people change their lives? The decision is up to you. Investing in commercial real estate is easy. I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. I'm going to take you by the hand. Wall Street Journal said there are opportunities in 2011 to buy at prices that we will not see again for a generation. And that is so true. Step number 4 is making the offer. And we make the offer with what's called a letter of intent. Commercial real estate, we use letters of intent. Now, we talked about strike price, and people ask me all the time, Dave, where do I start negotiating at the strike price? Do I start at strike price or below strike price? If below, how much below? Typically, you start negotiating at about 10% below strike price. Now, here's the thing. The multi-unit profit finder, it spits out these letter of intents. It's self-populating. So when you get a deal that works, you just press the button. It's got the address in there. It's got everything you need. It spits out the letter of intent, and you can either send it immediately over to the realtor or the seller, or you can hand deliver it. You can do whatever you want. One thing I don't suggest is that you shotgun a bunch of offers out there, because then you'll get known as the guy who shotguns lowball offers. That's not what you want to do. As a matter of fact, it's very simple. I call it the power of 2. All you need to be doing is putting in 2 offers a week. 2 offers a week. It doesn't matter if it's a good deal or not. See, I want you to be putting in offers on a regular basis so you're in the game. Because when you're in the game, you start creating confidence for yourself. You'll be talking to brokers. You'll be talking to sellers. You'll be using the scripts that I give you. But you'll get confidence. You'll realize that it is easier than you thought. You realize that it is easy to be successful. And then before you know it, you're going to start doing deals and you're going to start getting cash flow. But it's the power of 2. 2 offers a week and you're on your way. So let me ask you a question. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you tired of being trapped in a profession or a job that you don't like? Are you tired of working for the man? Are you tired of wondering how you're going to make ends meet? Are you tired of hearing about other people's success stories and you're wondering if you're ever going to get your own? Are you tired of living a life of scarcity? Scarcity meaning wondering, how you're going to get that next dollar to pay that next bill. Commercial real estate is going to allow you to live a life of abundance. Life of abundance is taking your family on vacations that you want to go on, that you've been putting off. It's going to restaurants, the restaurants that you've wanted to go to, the nice restaurants, the restaurants with the white tablecloth, that you open up the restaurant, you open up the menu, and you just choose what you want to eat. You don't even look at the prices. Abundance is driving the car that you want to drive and not worrying about how much gas it's guzzling. You want to be living a life of abundance because, see, they say that money doesn't buy happiness, but it does allow you to live a quality life. And that's what we're talking about here. See, I want to help you succeed. I succeed because of my family. Here's a picture of my family. We go on vacations together all the time. I take them to these great places. This happens to be up in Lake Winnipesaukee up in New Hampshire. This is a 22-room lodge that I rented, and we all just hung out there, and we had a great time. And the best part is these kids, these are memories that these kids are going to have for the rest of their lives. The same memories that my father gave me and my brothers and sisters, but he didn't take us to a 22-room lodge. He took us to a pop tent to this place in Papoose Pond up in Maine, which was a campground. That was all he could afford at the time. But you know what? The memories that we had there were just phenomenal. And I'm doing the same things for my nephews and nieces, and it's great. Plus, we're all enjoying it as well. Step number 6, getting the money. Where are we going to get the money to do these deals? Well, first of all, if you flip properties, you're not going to need any. The best part about wholesaling, and we'll get into that in a minute, is you don't need money to wholesale. Okay? Sometimes you need some money for an hour or 2 hours or maybe a day or two, and we'll provide for you what's called transactional funding. We'll actually give you money to do a deal. It's going to cost you a couple of points, but you're going to be making tens of thousands of dollars, so you won't have a problem paying that. But we make that available to you as well. And then when you start holding properties long term, you're going to need partners and you're going to need private money. Now, where do we find that private money? We find it through what's called association. Okay, you want to associate where people are that have money. All right, there's a lot of people out there that want to invest in real estate, but they're busy. Why are they busy? Because they're business people. They're busy running their businesses. They know what's going on in the real estate market. They want to get involved, but they're too busy. You go to those groups, Chamber of Commerce's, the Business Networking Internationals, the Citrus Clubs. You give your elevator pitch. You let them know what you do and how you do it. And those people are happy to get involved with you and become your partner. You go to your local real estate investment associations. You let the people know what type of properties that you're buying. And they'll be happy to bring you deals. But not only that, there's a lot of people in those meetings that never go out and do anything. They're just interested in getting involved. They have money. There's a lot of people with money in those groups. And number 3, internationally. You know, the world thinks that the United States is selling at half price. As a matter of fact, I went over to Amsterdam about 6 months ago to do a presentation to private money investors. And the headline to the newspaper was, America is half price. And they talked about the Boston Hancock Tower, which sold at nearly half its price in 2009 than it sold for in 2006. It sold for $1.3 billion in 2006. It sold for $660 million in 2009. Let me tell you this. In 2011, those people that bought it for $660 million just recently resold it for $930 million. They just simply held it for a couple of years. The market is already starting to change. Now is the time to take action. You know, instead of traveling all around the world to do these presentations for international investors, I got smart. I use Skype, Skype.com. And what Skype does is Skype literally brings the world to you. I give presentations not only internationally, but also within the same country. You know, domestic presentations. Say I'm in Boston and I have an investor in California and I want to do a private money presentation. I'll do it. If somebody's more than a couple hours away, I'll ask them to get on Skype. And the good thing, yes, ma'am, I'm all set. Thank you. Jeff, I'm in a hotel room and the lady just came in. You can drop the chocolates off though. So Skype.com, and it literally, I was doing this presentation to these German investors, and they were over in the French Riviera. There was 4 of them. They're at this big international real estate conference. And my partner comes in. He says, "Hey, I got these investors. They're from Germany, and I think they're going to they have between 25 and 50 million to put in our deals." I said, "Really?" I said, "Great." I said, well, "You know, when do they want us to give the presentation?" He says, "Well, we have to give it at 2 in the morning." He said, "Because we're in France." I said, "That's no problem." I said, "Let's get them on Skype." So we get them on Skype. 3/4 of the way through the presentation, they say, one of the guys says, "Okay, enough." And I said, "Enough?" He says, "Enough." And my friend says, my partner, his name's Dave too. He says, "Oh no," he says, "you don't understand. Dave's got some more information he wants to share with you." German guy says, "9, enough." He said, "No, you don't understand. Dave's just 3/4 of the way through his presentation, blah, blah, blah." So I smack him. I say, "Dave, shh, be quiet." Because you know, Jeff, you know, one of 2 things just happened. Either I sold these guys and they're on board, or they're not sold and there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to sell them. And, you know, in the past, I don't know if you've done this, but I've done this. I know I closed the deal. I kept talking, blah, 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 blah. And then I talked myself out of the deal. You know, I lost the deal because I kept talking.
Yep.
So I was done. So Dave says to him very meekly, he says, "So, well, are you interested in investing with us?" Guy says, "Yeah, we're interested in investing 1 to 1.5. And I'm looking at Dave and I give him the old stink eye and I'm like, 1 to 1.5? I'm at 2 in the morning to get 1 to 1.5 million. I mean, 1 to 1.5 million at this stage is easy money for me. And Dave says, 1 to 1.5 million? He says, "No, 1 to 1.5 billion. 1 billion euros, 1.5 million US. I was like, wow. I look at Dave and now I'm thinking, how in the world are we possibly going to spend $1 billion? And here's the thing, folks. I actually recorded that because I record my presentations because I'm always looking for ways to better myself, and I listen to them afterwards, and I think, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? How can I make myself better? That's a good thing to write down, by the way. Always ask yourself whenever you get done doing anything, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? How can I make myself better? So I recorded this, and part of my done for you piece is you're going to get this presentation, you're going to get the PowerPoint to this presentation, you're going to get the scripted words to this presentation, and you're going to get to listen to me give it. You'll listen to the German guy, you'll listen to the guy from England who sometimes interpreted for us, and it's my international and domestic presentation. So all you need to do is change my name to your name, and you can give this presentation. You can give it to a group of 1, 2 people, 3 people, you can give it to a whole room of people. And the money flows in from this presentation. I've been doing it for 17 years. I've been tweaking it along the way. This is a great presentation. So associate, I'll always be associating in business groups, real estate, investment groups, and internationally. So you have to be able to stop thinking that you can't do this for all of the reasons that are popping into your head right now. You have to stop thinking that you're not smart enough, you're not old enough, or you're not young enough, you're not techie enough to make money with real estate. Think about it. What is your excuse? Is it no money? I just showed you how to get the money. I'm going to give you a presentation that all you have to do is just follow along with it. Follow along with the PowerPoint that I'm going to give you, and it pulls in the money. Is it fear? Fear is natural. It's okay to be fearful. But one of the ways to overcome your fear is to educate yourself. The more education you have, the more calculated risk your fear becomes. No education? Well, you know where to get the education. Jeff gives you plenty of education. I'll be happy to give you some education. No time? All you need is a half an hour a day, 4 days a week. That's literally 2 hours a week. Are you ready to commit to 2 hours a week to provide a better life for you and your family? Absolutely. How about, here's a one, Jeff, you probably hear this one all the time too. Oh, that doesn't work in my market. Well, with the emerging market cycles, this works in every market because you're going to know exactly where you are in your market cycle, what strategy to use, and exactly how to use it so you can make the most amount of money. That's what successful investors do. So let's talk about step number 6, which is to close and flip. And how do we do that? Well, first of all, we're going to wholesale, okay? And what is wholesaling? Well, you probably know what it is, but let me give you a brief primer. Wholesaling is just literally taking control of a property and acting as a middleman between a buyer and a seller. Why wholesaling? Because you don't need cash, you don't need credit, there's no risk to it because you don't own the real estate, and you become a transaction engineer. So your transaction engineer has the ability to take any type of commercial property and flip it and make money from it. You see, you might be only interested in holding onto multifamily properties. You might only be interested in holding onto retail properties. Well, people are going to call you with all the marketing that we're going to do for you. People are going to call you with office properties. They're going to call you with industrial properties. If you understand how to structure those deals, you can flip them to somebody on your buyer's list, and you can make a chunk, and they'll make a chunk. So therefore, any deal that comes through your home or through your office, you get a piece of, and that's what a true transaction engineer does. So how do you wholesale? Well, you wholesale by getting a property under contract. As simple as that. Contract equals control. If you don't have it under contract, you don't control it. So when you control it, you can assign it. Now, with single-family properties, it's very difficult to assign. You're not going to add an and or assigns anymore. That doesn't work in this marketplace. Banks don't allow it. A lot of people are privy to that. But with commercial properties, on your letter of intent, there's always an assignment clause in there. And the reason is because when we buy commercial properties, we put it under contract under our LLC. I call it our umbrella LLC. Mine's the Bostonian Investment Group. And then once we determine that it really is a deal, then we transfer it over to the entity that's going to hold the property. You know you don't hold all the properties under one entity. That's Asset Protection 101. You have a different entity for every property. Well, in commercial real estate, it's industry standard that you assign it over to the other entity. This also allows you to assign it to another buyer as well, as long as you have the right language in there. So it's very simple to do, and that allows you to get a big check in a very short period of time with very, very little risk, if any. Now, here's a property. Let me give you an example. 670 Mount Prospect Ave, okay? It's on the market for $414,000. Student sees this deal. It's a motivated seller. He needs money for tax reasons. This is a recent deal. He gets it under contract for $350,000. He assigns it for $5,000, okay? Quick flip, makes $5,000, flipping it out to a buyer that's on his buyer's list, and we'll talk about buyer's list in a minute. The buyer keeps it for cash flow. right? He has a choice. He can either keep it for cash flow or he can sell it for $400,000. If he sells it for $400,000, he makes a $45,000 profit. Now, here's the thing. The FTC says if you're going to show a deal, you got to state what your average student makes on their average deals. Well, right now we're determining what our average student makes, so we're going to say that our average student doesn't make anything on their deals, okay? But first of all, we know you're not average because you're on this call and you're listening and you're taking notes and you want to make a better life, right? These profits, what you need to do is you need to create a buyer's list. And I want you to write this down. There are 5 major types of commercial properties. There are multifamily, hotels, office, retail, storage. Okay? Multifamily, hotels, office, retail, storage. Each one of those categories must have 5 different buyers under them. By having these 5 different buyers under them, you will be able to take any deal, call all 5 of them, because you want to create urgency. So you want to call them all and say, hey, I got this deal, first come, first serve. You know, he who ponies up the money gets the deal. Where are we going to get these buyers? Well, we're going to get them from classified ads, simple classified ads in your local newspapers. You can get them online with a web page, or you can get them at your local real estate investment groups. But the key is to have 5 and 5. So what if you did a couple of those deals a month? What if you did a couple of deals that you flipped and you made $5,000 a month? Is that going to get you off the treadmill? Absolutely. What if you held the deal to the end and you made the $45,000 instead of giving it to the buyer at the end of your buyer's list after you've gotten your head above water? You know, what if you did that just a couple of times a year? Imagine how your life would change and what your life would look like. That's flipping properties. You're going to flip a couple. It's going to happen quickly. You're going to get big checks, small checks, big checks, all depends on the deal that you get. But then you're going to hold for cash flow. Now, how do we hold for cash flow? Well, you need a good management company. All right. And the place that you're going to get the good management company is IREM.org. Now, this is done for you, but it's not done for you by me. This is an organization that I have no affiliation with, but it's a great organization. It stands for the Institute for Real Estate Management. Go to this website, put your city in. It will give you contacts for all the ARMs, accredited residential managers who handle multifamily, and all the CPMs, certified property managers who handle office and all the other commercial types of properties. They'll give you the contact information, and you can simply open up the manual, look at the script, and you want to ask them some key questions to make sure you get the right management company for your particular property. They're going to send you a report a month. It's called the Income and Expense Report. You always want to see it in what's called a trend report, okay? It's got to be in a trend report. And then from that trend report, you can determine whether your income's going up or if it's going down. You can determine if your expenses are going up or if your expenses are going down. If your income's going up, then you just have one problem, and that's cashing that check and spending that money. And that's not a bad problem to have. If your expenses are going up, then it's time to call the management company. It's time to hold their feet to the fire, because it's a management company that does all the hard work. It's a management company that does all the heavy lifting. You've got just one thing left to do, and that's cash checks. And that's a beautiful thing. Here's a strip center. A strip center, 100%. Take a look at this building. Would you be proud to own that? Absolutely. Would you be prouder if it was actually making you money? Absolutely. So what do you do here? You buy and hold it. You get investors using the strategies that I gave you. You get investors to put all the money down for the down payment and the closing costs. The investors get half of the deal. You get the other half. Your cash flow is $2,700. Why are you going to get $2,700 a month? Because you took the time out of your life to learn how to structure these deals, to discover the secrets of structuring these deals. You took the time out of your life to discover the secrets of bringing in private money. And because of that, you get rewarded. You get rewarded with cash flow, and you get rewarded with acquisition fees. Now, how do we wholesale and hold? I love this, wholesale and hold, because you know what? I love getting big checks, but I hate giving up properties. I hate giving up the cash flow on the properties and the appreciation. With commercial properties, you can wholesale and hold because you're going to get an acquisition fee, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call. An acquisition fee is 3 to 5% of the purchase price. It's industry standard that your investors pay you this money at the closing of the deal. At the closing of the deal, this means that if you do a deal that sells for $1 million and your investors pay you a 3% acquisition fee, that means that they're going to give you a check for $30,000 at the closing. And it's industry standard in this business. And that's the best thing. Now, I want you to know that you can go out, you can get all this information yourself, but it's going to take you 5 years and up to $300,000 to do it. And how do I know this? It's because that's what it took me. Or I can be your shortcut to success, but I can only do it if you allow me to. See, Warren Buffett said, be fearful when everybody is greedy. Be greedy when everybody is fearful. Right now, everybody is fearful. So it's time to get greedy for the next 2 to 2.5 years. Now, very quickly, some of the advantages of commercial real estate. Cash flow equals the freedom in your life. You can do less deals and make more money. You know, you do single family deals, you make X amount of money. You do multifamily commercial deals, and the average single family deal, you make 5 to 10 to 15,000. The average multifamily deal, mid-size, you make anywhere between 50, 60 to 70,000 on the flip. It's less risk because the more units you have under one roof, the less risky your investment is. You lose a tenant, you don't lose all of your cash flow. You don't have to make the next mortgage payment. If you lose a tenant on a 10-unit building, you still have your mortgage payment made. You still have cash flow coming in. If you have a 20-unit building and you lose 5 tenants, you still have your mortgage being paid. You still have your cash flow coming in. The more units you have under one roof, the less risky your investment is. And the economies of scale favor the commercial properties. Look, we've got 16 single-family properties. We've got one 16-unit building here. Here we've got 16 roofs that need to be repaired or replaced sometime in the future, maybe the near future, maybe farther off in the future, but it's going to happen. We've got 16 lawns that need to be mowed. We've got 16 tenants all spread out throughout our city or town. But here, we've got one roof, we've got one lawn, we've got all of our tenants centrally located right here. The economies of scale favor the commercial properties. Now, Anthony Robbins said, I can't give you the formula for success, but I can give you the formula for failure, which is not taking action. So folks, take action. Get in the game. Forbes magazine said the number one fear of middle-aged Americans is running out of money before they die. Owning commercial real estate in all those units means that you're going to have cash flow coming in year after year after year, all the way to the day you die. And actually that cash flow is going to get bigger because your rents are going to get bigger and bigger every year. Not only that, your tenants are going to be paying down your mortgage, so your equity is going to get bigger. Eventually, you're going to pay off those buildings for you. So as you're retiring, you know, and you can retire 3 to 5 years from when you start. It doesn't matter if you're 18 years old or 73 years old. That's the range of my students. You can retire in 3 to 5 years and then live a life of abundance because that money is just going to get more and more each year. And then you're going to leave a bunch for your relatives. Consumer Reports, I was in Consumer Reports about 1.5 years ago. Consumer Reports wrote, David Lindahl, the son of a Boston fish cutter, shows people how to become wealthy with real estate. Reader's Digest wrote, Self-Made Millionaires. They did an article on 5 self-made millionaires. I happen to be one of them. They said David Lindahl is an American success story, starting with nothing. He has grown a real estate empire to over 7,000 units. He is now showing other people how to do it too. This is not about me. It's about you. All you need to do is say yes. I put this together for you. You need someone to get you there. I'll take you to the finish line. Hook yourself up with me, and let's go. If you're not as happy and successful as you think you should be at this stage in your life, it's not your fault. It's because nobody truly successful has given you a step-by-step system that actually works in any real estate market. And you deserve success. You deserve to drive the car of your dreams. You deserve to live the life, live in a house that you and your family deserve to live in. You should have the ability to hop on an airplane at any time and fly anywhere in the world and take anybody you want with you, no matter how many there are. And more importantly, you deserve to spend as much time as you can with your family because life happens very, very quickly, as you well know. Folks, this is an opportunity right now to get involved in a great business. The window of opportunity is open for the next 2 to 2.5 years. And I want you to know that it's absolutely possible for anyone to get involved in commercial real estate, whether you understand any type of real estate or been through any other type of real estate training. Because what I do is I take you through this process step by step. I take you by the hand, and I'm qualified to do it because I do it every single day. I buy, I sell, and I negotiate commercial real estate. I've taken my last 17 years of experience. I've broken it down to a simple step-by-step system where I believe that anybody who wants to do this can do it and be successful. And how would you like the exact system that I use to create millions of dollars in commercial real estate? And I call it the commercial success done for you system. It's the first commercial product ever to show you how to get 6-figure checks without taking a lot of your time and without putting yourself into a lot of risk. Even if you have no money, little time, never done a commercial deal, and don't have family support like I certainly didn't. Other successful investors are not going to tell you how to do this. Why? They're too busy making money. Why am I doing it? I'm hoping that you're going to have so many deals, or you're going to see a big deal that you're going to be a little nervous about, and you're going to bring it to me, and we can possibly partner on a deal. That's what I'm looking for. So I want you to say goodbye to worrying about your retirement, worrying about your kids' education, wondering where the next car payment or mortgage payment is going to come from, and ever working again. Now, I put together a package, especially for tonight's call. The first part of the package, pretty big package. The first part of the package is home study system. And I call it the Commercial Investing 102 Home Study System because I wrote the book Commercial Investing 101 with Trump. Now, Module 1, you'll know how, what, and where to buy. There's letter campaigns in there, so you can get motivated sellers calling you on a regular basis. There's seller scripts in there. There's broker scripts in there. There's banker scripts in there, so you know what to say and when to say it. There's a management script in there. I show you how to build the relationships. I show you where to get the deals on the internet, where the real deals are. There's a lot of crap on the internet. Module 2 tells you how to exit with big checks. It shows you how to exit with big cash flows, or it shows you how to get both, because there's a lot of people that want both, and I say, why not? I'm going to show you how to create that buyer's list step by step. Module number 3 is going to show you how to get private money, how to associate, how to do simple presentations, an elevator pitch, how to do a one-on-one presentation, and a whole lot more. The value of this system, basically it's going to show you how to get them, how to sell them, how to negotiate them, how to get the money for them, and how to cash big checks. The value of this system alone, people pay me on a regular basis $1,495 for this package. Also, you're going to get the Commercial Real Estate Investing 101 book that I wrote with Donald Trump, and I'll even autograph it for you so you have a signed copy. Donald Trump said, I chose David Lindahl because of his easy to understand teaching style, and he's out there doing deals on a regular basis. I am the only person that's teaching commercial real estate right now on the marketplace that's been endorsed by Donald Trump. Now, here's the next part of the package, okay? The complete done-for-you system. Number 1, attracting the deals. We have a done-for-you mailing system where we will mail out. You're gonna have to pay for the envelopes and the letters, but we will send them out we'll do it for you, so you don't have to worry about doing it. The letters will go out there. All you gotta do is pick up the phone and read the script. It's completely done for you. So number 2, know your market. This is a poster that I created, okay? And this poster, basically, it has all the key characteristics of all the 4 markets going across here. These are the key characteristics, and these are the buying strategies. All you need to do is read through these characteristics. You're going to recognize which particular phase your market's in, and then you do these buying strategies. It's that simple. You just put it on the wall. Wherever your office is, in your home or in your office, wherever it is, just stick it on the wall, and you're going to be making the most amount of money in the least amount of time in any market in your backyard. Step number 3 is the done-for-you software. It's completely done for you. There's no guesswork. You know you have a deal in minutes. It's offers made easy. I've had people pay me as much as $5,000 for it. I regularly sell it for $29.95. This is part of the package as well. With the package as well comes it will show you how to make the offer, but you get the proof of funds letter that you get from my company. It's going to give you confidence, it's going to give you credibility, and it's going to get you into deals. The value of it is literally priceless. You also get the money. How are you going to get the money? Well, I'm going to give you the presentation. That's a value of $999. It's part of the package. You're going to get the presentation that I use not only internationally but also domestically. You'll hear me give that German presentation. You'll get it scripted. You'll get the PowerPoint. So you just simply change my name to your name, do what I do, and you'll see the money roll in. It's beautiful. How to close and flip. You're going to need a buyer's list. Where are you going to get a buyer's list? I'm going to give you a website so your buyers can get you online, and they'll fall into one of those 5 different categories. So when you have a deal and you're ready to flip it, all you got to do is contact people in that particular category. It's all done for you. And then how to hold for long-term growth. That's IREM.org. Like I said, I have no affiliation with that, but it's all done for you as well. See, it's the whole cycle from the start to finish. It's all done for you step by step, so it makes it easy for you to be successful. And I'm also going to give you 2 tickets to my live training academy. My training academy sells for $3,999 a piece. I'm going to give you 2 tickets. It's a 3-day live event. Now, what do we do there? Well, I'm basically going to turn you into a transaction engineer, a commercial transaction engineer. I'm going to show you how to create relationships and how to get deals, first of all. And then we're going to go into retail deal structuring, how to look at retail property and how to structure those deals. That's going to be the morning and the first day. The afternoon of the first day, we're going to go into office deal structuring. I'm going to show you what characteristics to look for an office, what to watch out for an office, how to structure the deals properly, and how to recognize a good deal. We're going to go into pre-screening, and we're going to do a lot more deal structuring. We're going to do case studies as well. Day number 2, We'll go into warehouse deal structuring and self-storage deal structuring. That's going to be in the morning. In the afternoon, we'll talk about hotels and how to make money with hotels. Now, one or two of these you're going to be really fascinated with, and you're going to like them, and you're going to want to hold them long term. The rest of them, you're just going to flip. You're going to be a true transaction engineer. We're going to do case studies. So, my students tell me all the time, I've done this 3 different times now. See, when I left that meeting with Seth Wheeler, the Assistant Treasury Secretary, I wasn't teaching commercial training. Yes, I was doing commercial properties on a regular basis, but I thought, oh my gosh, there's such a huge opportunity out there. I want to share it with my students. And I created the Commercial Training Academy. So it literally shows you how to become that transaction engineer and to make money that's going to be out there for the next 2.5 years. Also in day 2, we're going to show you how to negotiate these deals. We're going to show you how to do proper due diligence. That's really important. And where to get the money. We'll take you through the different presentations on how to get the money for these deals. And then on day number 3, we'll go into apartments. We'll do apartment deal structuring. We'll do apartment case studies. We'll talk about how to asset manage properly. You're not going to be a landlord, but you're going to be a good asset manager. We're going to show you how to create your power team. And then we're going to give you a step-by-step action plan. So when you leave that event, you'll know exactly what to do each day. I assume that you have a half an hour a day that you lead a very busy life. I'll show you exactly what to do each of those half hours so you can get started investing in commercial property and change your life forever. Now, I got 2 events. I want you to write these down. The next one is in Boston, July 15th to 17th. Boston's beautiful in the summertime. You can walk the Freedom Trail in Boston. That's where the whole country started. That's where I'm from. And there's great fish markets there. It's just if you haven't been to Boston lately, you haven't been to Boston. They've changed it completely. And we're going to be in San Diego, October 14th through the 16th. In San Diego in the fall is beautiful. They got a different type of fish out there. There's the beaches, there's surfing. It's like you could have a second honeymoon in San Diego. I got to warn you, my events sell out. I don't oversell them. They're small events. I'm only looking to train a small number of people. I'm not looking to hold huge events. My events usually sell out about 2 months prior to. I know at the Boston event, we have about 27 seats remaining at that particular event. So you want to make sure you get in, and you want to get into the very next event, because the sooner you get there, the better. There's only a 2 to 2.5 year window that's open here. Now, why come to the event? Well, the education is phenomenal, number 1. Number 2, you're going to be with like-minded people just like yourselves, and they're not people that you normally have in your life. These are people that are going to motivate you to go out there and start doing deals. These are people that you're going to network. And see, at my event, you network for partners. You also network for money. I see my students partnering up all the time and doing deals together, and I'm finding this phenomenon. A lot of my students have money, and they come to the room, and they're looking to partner with people and be the money partner for the deal. And that happens at every event. There's lots of money partners that take place. And the best part is you and me are together in a room for 3 days. I'm the one who teaches this event. I teach it for the entire 3 days. You get me the whole time. And I get to know you. You get to raise your hand. I get to ask you questions. There's nobody out there in the marketplace that owns the amount of properties that I own, over 7,000 units, and actually gets on a stage for 3 days and talks to people about what they do and shares with them how they do it. It's going to be you and me together for those 3 days. So here's the whole system, the whole done-for-you system. You get the home study modules, you get the done-for-you letter campaigns, the emerging markets poster, the profit finder software, the proof of funds letter, the private money presentation, the commercial website, the commercial training event. Total value $14,075. Patrick Stanford comes to the training, does 2 deals, profits $76,000 with those 2 deals. I get to Steve Hall. He does his first deal. It's a 10-unit building. What does he get? He gets an acquisition fee check of $51,504 and cash flow of $924 a month on his very first deal. These are the Schwartzes. They're really concerned about their retirement. They weren't sure if they're going to have enough money to retire. They do their first deal after the event. They do a multi-unit property. It's in an emerging market. Their acquisition fee on that deal was this check right here, $170,000, and their share of the cash flow is $4,100 per month. They're very, very happy now, and as you can see, they're getting close to retirement, and they know they're going to be able to retire comfortably. This was their first deal. They've done 2 other deals since then. The total value is actually $14,000. Your risk-free investment today is only $1,495 for the entire package. Folks, if you know me, you know that I have never had an event where I brought people in for less than $3,000. Sometimes we had a special for $2,495, but it's always been, to come to one of my events, it's always been $3,000. Why is it $1,495, the lowest ever? It's because this opportunity is such a short period of time. I want as many students out there doing this. Like I said, the events aren't huge, but I want quality students out there doing deals, and hopefully deals are going to come back to me and we're going to do deals together. So what could you do with $1,495? Well, you could have an all-inclusive vacation for two, but it wouldn't be that great. How would you like to go on vacation anywhere in the world and not even worry about what it's costing you and go to luxury hotels and sit by the pool, order drinks that cost $10 to $15, not even worry what the bill is? You could get a jacuzzi, but how would you like to have a pool attached to that jacuzzi with the cash flow that you're going to get? And for $1,495, you couldn't get a decent car, but unfortunately, some people only have $1,495 to spend on a car. Invest the $1,495 in yourself and be driving the car. So they get started. And here's the thing, folks. I've got some fast action bonuses that I haven't even talked about yet. I've got some more stuff, but I know successful people take action, and I know there's some people that are ready to go right now. So, Jeff, explain how people can go right now.
Sure. You can go to www.callwithjeff.com. That's www.callwithjeff.com. You can also call 1-800-574-9221. That's 1-800-574-9221. We do have operators standing by. And I can tell you what, Dave, I'm really blown away by this package you've put together. I can tell you what, folks, there was nobody more qualified out there than Dave Lindell to teach you how to become a successful real estate investor. I mean, he was hired by Donald Trump to write a book. He owns over 7,000 units. And I know he's successful. I've actually partnered with him on some deals. Okay, he's a real deal. He's been doing it for over 15 years. If you want to learn how to take advantage of this big commercial opportunity right now, this is the system for you. I can tell you what, his 3-day training is phenomenal. It's only him on the stage for 3 full days. It's not a sell-a-thon with 20 other speakers coming through trying to sell you their books and tapes. It's him for 3 full days. He breaks it all down for you step by step on how to go out there and be successful in your market. So again, you can go to www.callwithjeff.com. You can call 1-800-574-9221. We do have operators standing by. Now, Dave, you said you have some fax action bonus like to give away too?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And Jeff, you got to admit, even at this point, you've never seen me give away this stuff before. This is a completely new package.
Well, I just might want it too. Then you might have to send them to me too.
I'd be happy to send you a package. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. First part of the bonus is a jump chart. Everybody's going to get this one, as a matter of fact. This is a jump chart guide. This tells you exactly what to read in the books, what to listen to, how to get the done for you up and running. The value is $249, and it gets you started. It gets you first deal under contract within the first 30 days. That's the goal. Because once you get started, then you're off and running. So me as an educator, my first goal is to get you into your very next deal. But here, I've got my secret emerging markets hot list. Okay, now I'm going to give this only to the first 30 people. All right, and this is the top 10 markets that are exploding right now in the United States. One of them could be yours. Ground floor opportunities, and these are the markets I'm looking to invest in. So if you want to invest with me, these are the markets I'm looking to invest in. Yeah, I'm interested in your backyard, but I want it to be emerging. And these are the ones. These are where we're going to make our most money. Also, I've got that bank failure report. I've got the list of 700 banks that only the government has. I got it from when I was at that meeting with Seth Wheeler. These are the banks that are about to fail. These are the banks that you want to be negotiating with right now. These are the banks. It goes state by state, and it tells you exactly which banks are in your state. You get fresh REO opportunities. They're short sale gold mines. And you have insider knowledge to protect your savings and to go after the best deals that are out there. I've got 30 of those, and I'm only going to give out 30 of those as well. Why? Because successful people take action, and I want you to take action. Here's my personal guarantee. It's my 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Take action now. Try the complete system for 90 days. If you're not overwhelmed how easy it is, simply send it back to me, and I will give you your money back. As a matter of fact, I got my 3 grizzly bear guarantee. If you're not overwhelmed by how easy it is, and if you wouldn't jump into a cage with 3 hungry grizzly bears to get that course back and somebody tossed it in there, then I want you to send it back to me, and I will very happily give you your results. So you have a choice. You can do the same thing you've always been doing and get the same results. Or you can do something different and you can change your life for the better. That's what I'm offering here. So take action now. Go to callwithjeff.com. I got a couple more bonuses, by the way. I've got a really good one, and it's only for the first 12. So and this is going to be big, so hold on. So go to callwithjeff.com. 800-574-9221. 800-574-9221. If it's busy, you're on this call, he's got your name, call back, or if they just ask you for your name, they've got your other information, they'll get back and get the rest of it. So here's the thing. I would love to get everything for free to you, all right? And here's how I'm going to do it. invest in yourself, invest in the $14.95. Okay, get the system. Go out there and start doing it. Get your first deal under contract and close on it within 90 days. Okay, I don't care if it's just a single one commercial property, like I forget the term for it now, but it's a single space building. You know, it could be a shopping, a drugstore, or a two-family building. I don't care how small it is. I just want you to do a deal, and I will give you your $14.95 back. Why? Because some people thrive off of a challenge. This is your challenge. Some people need a kick in the butt. This is your kick in the butt. But more importantly, I know that when you do a deal within the first 90 days, you are more apt to come back to me and do deals with me and together. So that's what I'm really looking to do. So you can get the whole thing for free. It's guaranteed for 90 days, and you do a deal and you get your money back anyways. I mean, I'm trying to take all of the risk off of you, put it on me to give you a good quality of program. So you get to come to the event as well. Get good quality program that's going to change your life. Asher Coulter wrote and he said, everything you made sense. I wanted your complete investor's package. Your money back if I buy a multifamily or commercial property within 90 days really made me go ahead and take the plunge. He got a property with only $2,000 down. It has $46,000 of equity, and he got his $14.95 back. We talked about Patrick Stanford earlier. Leslie Chung did 2 deals within the first 9 weeks. She said, the best part is you honored your word and you gave me the money back for the system. Alex Galinci does a deal in 52 days, gets $61,254, gets his $14.95 back. Dieter Rubin, Alpharetta, Georgia, 73 days, $490 in equity, gets his money back. Rick Chafee, 2 deals in Tyler, Texas. Just last week, he said, I profited $175,000 on a 10-unit and a 12-unit wholesale deal, and he got his $14.95 back. I'm going to be honest with you. Some of those people told me, keep the money. I made so much money in the real estate. I'm so happy that it changed my life. You keep the money. I couldn't possibly take it back. But you know what? We send them the check anyways because that's the deal. John Yu, a college student, $50,000 in 42 days. Gail and Chris Heisler, he's an airline pilot, $622,000 profit in 67 days. Marlene Green does over $300,000 on her first deal. Folks, I could go on and on and on, but I'll tell you what, I've got one more thing, and this is for the first 12. I am going to give you a 90-day mentoring certificate that has my phone number, my fax number, my email address in here, so I can hold your hand, I can walk your back, and I can walk you through your first deal. I want to get you started. Not only can you talk to me, here's a trick to talk to me. Call me in the morning and return all my calls in the afternoon. But not only that, I've got 51 other people in my office in Rockland, Massachusetts that are there to help you succeed. We are all about your success. We are not successful until you're successful. I've got a 90-day mentoring certificate. This will get you to where you need to be. So you get a 90-day money-back guarantee. You got to invest in the package, do a deal, you get your money back in 90 days, and we're going to help you do that deal. Folks, we want you to be successful. I can't think of anything else. We've taken all the risk completely off you. I want you in commercial real estate. I want to do deals with you. Let's get started. But I can only do this for the first 12 because I'm very busy. I'm out there doing deals myself. So I can only hold the first 12 people. I can hold your hand. I can take you through that process. So get it now. Get it now. It's part of a higher price coaching program. Get it now. Jeff, tell them how they can get it again.
Really fast, you can go to www.callwithjeff.com. That's www.callwithjeff.com. We can call 1-800-574-9221. Hey, Dave, we have a couple of problems we need to address. First problem is those 12 spots are gone. Okay, I'm going to look at my shopping cart here right now. We already have 14 orders in the shopping cart right now. Those 12 spots are gone. Can you open those up to another 5 people?
For you, I can. It's not unusual that they go that quick because they go.
And
yeah,
the other,
you, Jeff.
Okay, and the other problem is we have a unannounced surprise bonus. This is not a marketing ploy. Dave, your office, Chris in your office told us the price of your course is $9.95. If you go to callwithjeff.com, it says $9.95. However,
Really?
You said $14.95. So I'm going to have to ask you to honor what your office told my staff today and let them have the course, the training, and all the mentoring for $9.95. Can you honor that for me?
Jeff, here's the deal. You know, that comes with a 3-day boot camp at $9.95. I've never given it at $9.95.
I realize that, but there's no way for us to go in there and change the price.
I've dropped that course down. I've dropped that course down to $9.95 without the boot camp. But
I hear you, but the price is already there. There's no other way that they can sign up. It's in there. So call with Jeff, $9.95. That's what your office told us.
Okay, $9.95 for this and this only.
And you will never find this again, folks. I can
You'll
tell
never
now,
find this
is
again.
Not a marketing ploy. This is what his office told us today. Dave has been flying from Boston to San Diego for a train that he has going on. I'm actually going to meet with him tomorrow. He's about an hour from my house. $9.95. You get everything that Dave covered. You have a question here, Dave, that just came onto the GoToMeeting screen. Could you please really fast go over really quickly what they're going to be receiving again for $9.95?
You're going to get the complete 3-volume home study manual. You're going to get the whole done-for-you system. It's the done-for-you marketing. You're going to get the done-for-you software. You're going to get the letter of intent. You're going to get that emerging markets poster. You're going to get your own website. You get all of that for the ridiculously low price of $9.95, I must add, Jeff. And you also get the 3-day boot camp where you can come and you can be trained by me personally. And you get me the entire 3 days. When was the last time you were at a real estate event and the guy that actually wrote the course actually taught the event for the 3 days and no other speakers came in to sell something else? I promise you, no other speakers will come in to sell. You'll have me for 3 days.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, folks, go to www.995. See, my staff just walked in. Is it $14.95 or $9.95? It's $9.95. Okay. Well, we already had people call in earlier that gave us a credit card for the full $14.95. They're going to be surprised when we say they get $5 rebate back. So it's $9.95. Okay.
Yeah, it's well worth the $14.95.
Exactly. So, folks, you can go to www.callwithjeff.com. That's www.callwithjeff.com. You can call 1-800-574-9221. Hey, Dave, you made a really good point there. You know, a lot of these seminars out there right now, number one, they're taught by people who own very little real estate. That's the truth. You know, when I got into the speaking business, which is about 7 years ago, you told me something, Dave. You said, Jeff, you know what? Most people out there that speak, that talk about real estate, don't own any real estate. And Dave, that was so true. I was so blown away by that.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, you know, they don't teach the event for 3 full days like you do. And they don't own all the units and have the wealth of experience that you do. So again, folks, this training is something that
it's a true training.
Exactly.
There's a lot of new gurus on the scene, and they offer a course and then they offer training, but the training is a bunch of other people coming in and pitching their products. This is a true training. I've been training along with Jeff for the last 9 years. And, you know, we take my students step by step through the process. And our whole goal is, like I said, you know, we're a true education company. I've got 2 companies. I've got an acquisition company that has 171 employees, and I've got my education company that has 51. And we're going to be around for a long time. You come to my office in Rockland, Massachusetts, and you see my 51 staff members, and you walk through the 12,000 square foot office space, and you'll see we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here for a long time because we give quality training, and our students are successful. But, you know, when you walk in, you're going to walk into the Wall of Fame, and that Wall of Fame has all these testimonials from students. It's all over the 4 walls. When you first walk in, it's probably a 20-foot foyer, and it's surrounded by 3 different walls and a staircase going up into the 2nd floor. And Alice is there, and you'll see our Wall of Fame, and I want you on that Wall of Fame. It's students that have gone out and done exactly what I've taught, and they've changed their life dramatically.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing too, Dave, go out, do a deal. Would you say 90 days?
Yep, 90 days. Get your money back.
90 days, you get your money back. And I can tell you what, folks, I went through Dave's course about 7 years ago. I actually went out and did a deal. In that first 90 days, I bought a triplex in California. I still own that triplex today. It cash flows over $1,400 a month. And as a matter of fact, I saw something, Dave. You owe me $3,000 and never got that rebate.
Oh, really?
Send it down the mail. Yeah, if you would.
Well, listen, I'm going to give your students the rebate from going from $14.95 to $9.99. How's that?
$9.95.
$9.95, yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a 10-line phone bank in my office. Every single line is lit up right now, folks. Grab your spot. Go to www.callwithjeff.com. Register today. It's $9.95. You can call 1-800-574-9221. We're gonna raffle off some iPads here. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a name off the GoToWebinar screen. Winner number 1 is Lisa Winokur. Lisa Winokur, go ahead and contact my office. We have an iPad 2 for you, Lisa Winokur. Winner number 2 is Richard Yartz. Richard Yartz, if you can contact my office, we have an iPad for you. And winner number 3 is Devin Wilson. Devin Wilson, contact my office. We have an iPad for you. And another thing I'm going to do here for the other people on the call here tonight, I'm going to send you out a link with a special gift tomorrow. Those of you that were on the call, that you can use in your real estate investment business. And again, to sign up, folks, you can go to callwithjeff.com. That's callwithjeff.com. You can call 1-800-574-9221. We'll get you all signed up. Hey, Dave, I want to thank you for taking time out of your business to come on the call here tonight. Thank you for the great information, and I'll see you guys all at the top. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.